Ja. Get as much as I want.
كلها انا فلان
ways to go.
Like 5 times.
Bro, it's true though. I did go to hell. Who does hell? 했어요.
So it's literally
80-year-old.
Yeah, if we go to there, maybe like